Waveform.
I see a waveform.
Waveform? Waveform.
I see it on all 4
Yep,
channels.
we're all good.
Okay.
Cool.
Hello and welcome to Side 1, Side B with Dave and Steve. I'm Dave.
And I'm Steve.
And we have 2 guests with us today. Fellas, introduce yourselves.
Hi everybody. I'm so used to going hi everybody. I'm not Ben Shin. My name's Jimmy. I like stuff, and I'm also here today.
I like stuff, and I'm here today too.
Hi, I'm Jacob. I'm a townie, and I have a strong distaste for Eric Clapton.
Do you remember Jacob was on the Wayne's World episode?
I got that on Laserdisc now, so we're all going to have to get together and review the movie now.
The great thing about Laserdisc, I've said this before, but this could be someone's first episode, is if we do watch a movie on Laserdisc for the podcast, is it fits the format because you have to flip it over. And so we get to watch half of a movie that arbitrarily stops at some point because it's not made to be flipped over like a record.
So it really is like a silver record.
It is.
It is, yeah.
We've done
movie records.
We've done one movie on Laserdisc so far, which was Judgment Night, which was not a great movie, but we had fun watching it.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and since then I've picked up a couple. I've picked up Spinal Tap because I think it'll be fun to do Spinal Tap. I already mentioned Wayne's World. We're gonna do Heavy Metal and I got a Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, which Sean seems very excited to do.
Where does one get laser discs?
eBay?
Don't get me started on that. I had a unfortunate incident where I bought Spinal Tap twice because the first one came smashed because the guy thought it was a good idea to mail a Laserdisc in a bubbler mailer, but boo earns.
The next one came in a cardboard box.
Yeah,
and it
so
was fine.
I now have an intact copy of Spinal Tap, which I wonder what guest we should have on for that one.
The real question is when are you going to get into Betamax?
Do you have a player for Betamax? I'm sure you do in your basement.
No, I don't actually. I
You
didn't
have an Apple III, but you don't have a Betamax player?
Is that like a big VHS tape? Or...
small VHS tape.
Oh, okay.
It was the direct competitor with VHS technology, and it lost supposedly because porn went with VHS.
They probably weren't beta min-maxing.
Where goes porn, there goes the entertainment industry's format of choice.
It was technically better than VHS, but yeah, I think that was a big part of it. Same thing happened with Blu-ray and HD DVD, if I remember right.
Yep.
All right, so fellas, what do you know about the band Gang of Four, or the Maoist group from China, Gang of Four?
We reviewed one of their EPs, and their name makes me hungry for Chinese food.
I know that they're a post-punk band from the England area. Like that side of town.
Yeah, across the pond.
Yeah, I'm about the same level of knowledge as Jimmy. I know I think the guitar player just died. Is that right?
The guitar player died in 2020. The original bass player, who wasn't in the band anymore, just died this year.
Gotcha. And then wasn't the Gang of Four that they were named after? That was Mao's wife and a couple close confidants that were, I don't know, kind of semi-purged after he died. Is that what it was?
Yeah, that's who they were. They tried to carry on, and then I believe it was Dang that purged them.
Huh.
Well, dang.
Dang it.
Dang. Yep.
It's not racist when I say it.
Yeah. But yeah, they were a post-punk group out of the England area. Their original lineup, which is what we're going to listen to today, were John Gill on vocals and percussion and melodica, Andy Gill on guitar, Dave Allen on bass, and Hugo Burnham on drums. They were very political band, as you hear when we get into it, which is why I brought on some good Marxist friends. There's a lot you'll get from this, and we're going to cover their first album, Entertainment, which I do not have on vinyl.
Shame.
For shame. I could have got it on vinyl before doing this episode, but I will go into why right now. So, I went to see one of their last shows ever in Kansas City a couple weeks ago. I went through the merch line and all that, and I was like, I should pick up a copy of the Entertainment album. They played through the whole album that night, and then later they did an encore of basically every other song by them I wanted to hear that wasn't off the first album. But yeah, I was like, I should pick this up. And then I went through the line and I was like, you know what I should do instead? I should buy John King's book and buy a hat. Because I already have this album on CD. And so why buy it twice when I can buy something that they've produced much more recently? And so I went with that.
David, I question your commitment to the podcast. I bought Saint Anger for the podcast.
You did. So we will be listening to it on Tidal and pausing it halfway through when the side ends.
I couldn't find a vinyl copy of Lulu, though, unfortunately.
I don't know if they made Lulu on vinyl, did they?
They did, and apparently it was very cheap and easy to find right around when it came out, but it's not anymore.
Now it's a collector's item.
Yep. So, if I ever get that time machine, I'll go buy a cheap copy of Lulu.
When we get to our 98th, 99th, and 100th episode, our plan is, as listeners of the podcast will know, that we are going to listen to Metal Machine music by Lou Reed, Saint Anger by Metallica, and then cap it off number 100 with Lulu.
Is it worth a lot now because it's good?
No, it's worth a lot now because it's hard to find. And it has Metallica and Lou Reed's name on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Almost nothing is worth a lot because it's good.
It's just kitsch.
Yeah.
Well, it's like some of the most expensive Nintendo games, like NES or Super Nintendo. Like it's all the shitty ones that are like expensive because they didn't make a lot of them because they were shitty.
Sure.
And so now we live in this consumer culture where people have to have everything. And so somebody's like, I want an entire NES collection. And some guy's like, well, I have this copy of some sports game that nobody cared about, but since there's only like 10 of them, I'm going to charge you $300 for it. And so it's like that with Lulu now, because nobody wanted it back in 2012 when it came out. And so stores sold them for ultra cheap, and then people held on to them as collector's items. So
How much is your copy of the Lou Reed Atari game worth? Not the Lou, the E.T.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of those, actually. You can get those for super cheap.
I thought that they tried to destroy all evidence that they existed and buried them in a landfill.
Yeah, but they still made so many of them that it's flushed in the collector's market.
I remember playing that game as a kid. It was something else. I didn't realize like games could be bad yet at that point. I just thought like I was doing something wrong, you know?
Did weren't you not able to finish that game? Like
You would just fall in a hole and
Yeah.
then like that you couldn't get out of the hole. You just had to like restart it.
You can finish it, but it's not a fun experience from what I've heard. I've never attempted and will never attempt to because I have better things to do with my time.
The last time I attempted it, it was at someone's birthday party, and we were attempting it ironically, and we were all somewhat too incredibly drunk
Yes.
and belligerent.
I
Steve was there.
Yeah, I was there. I was very drunk, and for those that don't know what I look like, I am a very large man. And at the time, I had a girlfriend that was practically a stick, and she helped me out to the car. and that must have been an experience for her.
I think that's when she officially stopped liking that group of friends.
I think the story of the ET Atari game is a good example of why every industry should be unionized.
I
Yes.
agree. I think IT in general is in dire need of unionization, but every IT worker thinks that they're an embarrassed millionaire or billionaire, so they want it to be run libertarian style, but they don't realize that,
That meritocracy is a made-up stupid word.
yes.
Oh,
That's not very Zizzian of you guys.
yeah. Well, and it's like the shit show that IT is in is what has let Silicon Valley's work culture become so toxic and be all about move fast and break things, which is why we're having to deal with a bunch of broccoli-haired dipshits named Big Balls dismantling vital government services that people need to live. And here we are.
You know, I really love the early history of Apple computers from the Woz side, because Woz was actually a pretty cool guy, but Steve Jobs can get fucked with a pineapple.
Yeah.
Like if like Woz, he wanted to give away the Apple One. Like he wanted everybody to have their own schematics so they can build their own. But Steve Jobs was the one that swooped in and said, "No, man, we should charge for it." And then they charged $666 for it.
How did Steve Jobs die?
He died of cancer because he thought that just eating fruit would cure his cancer.
Yes.
So pineapple cancer.
Yeah.
See, my dream came true.
These guys are dumb. Is my point.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, behind every tech CEO billionaire fuck that you worship, there's a team of engineers that actually made that happen, and they should be the ones making the profit and not the guy that sits in his comfortable office all day and doesn't know how to code.
Yeah.
When he died, he was drafting his autobiography. It was called Steve Jobs Outsmarting Cancer.
Wrecked. Since we do not have a sleeve to look at, I'll just hand the artwork over to Steve here, or you can bring it up on the computer. It'll be easier to see.
Jamie, bring that up.
Jamie, is that true?
All right. So, we got a red background, which is fitting because, you know.
Communists.
Yes.
Commies.
And then entertainment is in yellow.
It's
Again,
in
communism.
Yeah.
Interesting to note is that so Gang of Four is in all capital letters and is like squared evenly, like with the edge. But then entertainment is in all lowercase letters and is tilted.
That is correct.
Yeah.
It almost looks like it could be a record that was like wrapped in cellophane, and they stamped like entertainment on the cellophane. You know.
Yeah. Does look like that. Yeah.
In the lower right-hand corner, there is a set of images. It's kind of like almost a comic book, and it has a little phrase here that says, "The Indian smiles. He thinks that the cowboy is his friend. The cowboy smiles. He is glad the Indian is fooled. Now he can exploit him." Dun, dun, dun.
So yeah, little thing about colonialism and exploitation there.
Very fitting with the conversation that we were just having.
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
The employees think that the boss is their friend.
But yeah, this album came out in 1979 as Thatcher was rising to prominence.
Boo.
Gang of Four were a part of the whole Rock Against Racism thing. They were one of those bands where Nazis would try to go to their shows to start fights, and they would have to fight them. They were, you know, in the thick of things, in the fisticuffs, if you will. They were a pretty unique and interesting band. One thing I read, my main sources for this is I didn't finish the book that I bought, but I read all the stuff about this album in particular, and hopefully I remember enough of it. Then also there were a couple books with a bunch of interviews with the with a couple of the members, which were both the books were by Simon Reynolds, and one was called Totally Wired, and the other one was called Rip It Up and Start Again, and they're both about the history of the post-punk scene. And I read those years ago, so we'll see how well I remember them. We're just going off the dome like I always do. But those are the sources if you want to fact check and find me wrong, because I read those in 2018.
It's a professional operation over here.
Yes. But yeah, they what part of their idea for calling themselves Gang of Four is, at least early on, they were trying to do the mix democratically, and that they were trying to find a perfect balance where you could hear the drums, bass, guitars, and vocals all perfectly equally.
That was actually the first thing I noticed when I was listening to it, was that all the instruments sounded very distinct, yet could operate together, which I think is probably a good metaphor for these ideas.
Yeah. Yeah, the concert that I went to was really good. Since two of the original members are now dead, they had Ted Leo from Ted Leo and the Pharmacists on guitar. And they had what was her name? They had Gail Greenwood from L7 on bass. And it was a really good show, really high energy. They played this entire album minus one track, which we'll get to after we do the first side. And then they did a really long encore where they played everything that I wanted to hear. And so I've decided I'm going to start traveling during local elections so that I don't have to think about them. And so I was in Kansas City during the mayoral election here. And we've had the same mayor for 12 years. Didn't necessarily like the guy she was running against, but I was sick of her. And I was just out here and about. And then in the last couple weeks of her campaign, she'd gone super reactionary in regards to the kind of ads and mailers she was sending out about trans people, which really sucked. And I'm fully expecting more people to try shit because they're emboldened by that kind of thing. So that sucks. But during To Hell with Poverty, which is off of an EP they did later in the encore, my phone started exploding. And I was like, fine, I'll check and see what's going on. And that's when I saw she conceded. So that was a lot of fun.
A surprise to be sure, but a welcome one.
Yeah.
Now she can go live in St. Louis like she always wanted to.
Yeah. As a communist, I will say, I don't hold a lot of faith in electoral politics, but it's important to vote locally because that's the shit that affects your day-to-day life more. So, and nothing's going to be good, but there's sometimes you just gotta.
It's.
Lose more slowly.
Yeah, lose more slowly. Sometimes you gotta lose more slowly and be happy when people you don't like lose.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of business unions, but sometimes the AFL-CIO is the best you got for the moment.
Yeah.
That's better than nothing.
Better than nothing. Yeah. One more story from the show that has nothing to do with politics per se. Was at one point when I was standing in line for the merch, I saw a guy to my left, and I thought, that looks like John Worster, the drummer formerly of Superchunk, now of the Mountain Goats. That's really weird. I didn't know he lived in Kansas City. I'm not 100% sure. I'm just not going to say anything and move on. So I, went through the line, bought my hat and my book, sat, went through the first set, and then later into the very long encore, at one point, we would like to welcome a special guest to the stage. Give it up for John Worster. And so, yeah, it was him.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's
You just tell that story like the copy pasta where it's like, oh, I saw John Worster at the grocery store.
Yeah.
He was trying to shoplift like 15 Snicker bars.
If I wanted to shoplift 15 Snicker bars, I wouldn't wear a bright red jacket in the middle of the summer. Just saying, if he wanted to shoplift, he could have been a little more inconspicuous.
coward.
Yeah. All right, so the first side, we have 6 tracks. We have Ether, Naturals Not in It, Not Great Men, Damaged Goods, Return the Gift, and Guns Before Butter. Any thoughts before we get started?
I have something about Guns Before Butter. I was listening to the album earlier today, and I'll let someone who's like a good worder describe what I'm showing y'all.
Nice.
Gun butter.
Gun butter.
Yep. You can have it all.
It is a pink bottle of gun lube.
Yeah. So do you remember there was like this big deal because like Walmart started selling like lube, but it was like called like gun lube or something, and it was like in like a bullet a bottle, like shaped bottle.
No.
No.
Yeah.
There's an overlap there. Like one of the more popular gun lubes is called like Slip 2000, which sounds like incredibly sexual. You know. Like yeah.
I wonder how many guys have stuck their dicks in their gun's hole.
Probably more than I would like to imagine.
But still not enough.
Yeah.
That's ignoring rule number 5 of firearm safety.
Don't try to fuck your gun.
Yes.
There's
That's NRA propaganda.
yeah. There are
Pierre.
I don't think I don't
Why
hold
should I
to-
have to buy a
yeah.
fleshlight when I've already bought a $1,000 gun?
I'm not gonna hold the Freudian explanation for every gun owner because I'm a gun owner and I don't want to fuck my gun. But I do think a few of like the like far right, you know, like gun guys, there is something like really libidinal about like what they want it with a gun. Like there's like it's that episode of The Simpsons. I feel really powerful, like God must feel when he holds a gun. But yeah,
Yeah, they're definitely in their like WWF attitude era at this point.
yeah.
It's something to behold.
Amosexuals is a term that I have heard. So yeah,
Are they reloaders?
yeah.
Wildcatters?
Yeah, but yeah, we will get this record started. This is side 1 of Entertainment by Gang of 4. Marxist propaganda. And now we're back.
Now we're back.
Okay, and we're back from side 1 of Entertainment by Gang of 4. What'd you guys think?
So I thought that it had kind of a ahead of its time kind of sound. It kind of reminded me of like the grunge that would come later on, but more on like the punk side of grunge rather than the metal side that we usually talk about. I noticed in the Wikipedia article, like Kurt Cobain mentioned this was one of his favorite albums, and I could hear the influence on his guitar playing, certainly. I like that it had like a really solid rhythm section, but the guitar was really chaotic, and I'd say more about noise making than being perfect.
Yeah.
So
But it was perfect.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's like my first thought when I heard the guitar playing was like, it's interesting guitar playing, but you could tell it was played by someone who understands that that guitar is not a very interesting instrument. Like there's a sense of irony in the way that he's playing that like winds up making it really good.
Yeah.
He wasn't trying to like imitate Hendrix or anything like that, you know?
Yeah.
And is this Andy Gill?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And I also very much appreciate that the tone did not change throughout the like first half. I think there was like 1 or 2 overdubs with maybe a little bit of like reverb or like an echo effect or something like that. But for the most part, it seems like he's not touching the controls.
Yeah. It's really high and trebly to sit in a spot where it doesn't overpower the bass or the drums or the vocals too. So it's just kind of off on its own somewhere.
But I kind of felt like the bass was almost the dominant instrument. I could hear that the most out of all of it.
Yeah.
And I really liked the bass playing. It was really solid. I think that's what I wanted to sound like when I was playing bass for Gong Farmer, like really active with a lot of fills. Probably didn't play it that well, but like if I was to go back in time and pick what I wanted my bass to sound like, it'd be like this.
Yeah, like it was a real like smooth bass tone that was really good at like following the fills, dropping out when it needed to. It added growl sometimes, but more than anything, it added groove. This is one thing I like about this album is it's a great album to headbang to, but it's also a great album to shake your ass to. It's like you can dance in two different ways while listening to it, which I think is really cool.
Shake your butt and bang your head.
Yeah.
Those are options.
What a concept.
That's what I was doing at the show too, just kind of, like my lower half was swaying, my top half was flailing.
I feel like any of the instruments or even combinations thereof could be the star of the show depending on what you're listening to specifically on a given, listen through of the album.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Like the entire the drum and bass section together, just tremendous, right?
I agree.
So
yeah.
a great rhythm section, guitar playing is out of control, and then even like vocally, all the kind of back and forth, like call and return, or it was great.
Yeah.
Also, I've never heard it on speakers this good, and it's just like tremendous. I love it so much.
Yeah.
I think this is a good example of how like rawness and power doesn't have to come with like nastiness, and I mean that both in a sonic sense as well as in a like attitude sense. There was definitely like a sense of like rawness and power to the way that they were performing, but you could still tell that it was very intelligent, very well thought out, and then also sonically, they like you mentioned, there was like virtually no effects added onto that pedal, like maybe some overdrive or gain, but just booming.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guitar, it had a level of chaos to it, but it was controlled.
Yeah.
Like, I hear a lot of similar guitar players that are kind of approach making noise where it's just not as controlled. So it's really interesting to hear it that way. Almost reminds me a bit of Tom Morello's approach to guitar a bit.
I do think this is I think this is the spiritual fathers of Rage Against the Machine to a large degree too. Like left-wing communist, kind of funky, drawing from all different kinds of music. It definitely inspired it. As a noise guy, I really liked the guitar too, and also as a noise guy, I'm impressed that was done with minimal effects.
Yeah.
Like he knows how to use feedback when he needs it. We'll especially see that on the second side, but he does that just by how he holds his guitar by his amp too.
Yeah.
And so it's amazing.
Definitely doesn't overdo it, which is very easy to do. It's very fun to indulge yourself in a lot of chaotic noise that's non-controllable sometimes, but
Yeah.
I mean, every noise that he made, I think, was a pleasant noise rather than a discordant noise.
Yeah. Go through track by track now. First we have, kicking it off, Ether.
Why don't drums sound like this anymore? Like this reminds me of Wire as well.
Yeah.
And like Joy Division too. What happened?
The recording got too good and they lost something, I think, is part of it. Like, this is my second favorite drum sound. My first favorite drum sound is even older, and it's like the early Kinks singles.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, I think as technology has gotten better, drums have lost something primal.
You mentioned that when we did the Lord Such episode, is you noted that drums didn't really have that sound anymore in comparison to his contemporaries, given who was playing on it,
Yeah. And I think this felt like a step back towards that too, but also finding a way to make it fit with like choppier, like a lot of critics when they talk about this era of British post-punk will use words like choppy and angular and stuff like that. I think this drum sound is perfect for how it fits with this kind of, like high treble, kind of in and out choppy guitar sound too.
It was very, very thumpy, which I like.
Yeah.
It's like if 4 people with Tourette's made an a cappella group, but put in 12 hours a day for a couple of years, and this is the level of kind of tight discordance that you'd get or something.
Yeah.
I'm just stunned.
Yeah. I like Ether. One thing I really liked about it is I liked how much the rhythm section was holding it down throughout all of it too. Like all the trading vocals, the random melodica stabs, how all over the place the guitar was. And the song changed a lot, but the rhythm section stayed consistent. So, which allowed John and Andy to go all over the place.
Yeah, that's kind of what I wrote here. The guitar is looser while the rhythm section seems very tight, allowing the guitar to paint something more abstract onto a canvas.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to get all poetic and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the bass played a second note for quite a while into the song.
Yeah.
And then it was just little flourishes here and there.
Yeah, Dave Allen was a really good bass player, but he knew when to hold back and just pulse on a single note or drop out entirely for a while before coming back in and doing a really dexterous run too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm really impressed with his playing.
Yeah, I think there's kind of a reason why I got a little less interested in the band when he decided to quit,
Sure.
in the early 80s. But yeah.
Hey, I have a sneaking suspicion that these guys met in art school. Did they meet in art school?
They did, yeah.
Yes, okay. Yep. It doesn't show.
Yeah, the post punk was a lot of times people who met in art school and went to an early Sex Pistols show, deciding, hey, what if we did this, but how we would do it. Yeah.
So my whole understanding is the whole situationist movement was probably related to art school.
Yeah. These guys are situationists. Their name may be Maoist, but they owe a lot more to Debord than they do Mao.
That's the one thing that was missing from Hitler is he didn't have the Sex Pistols part. He just had the art part.
Yeah.
So that's why he became evil.
So remember, kids, art makes you evil.
No kid who's raised on Thomas Kincaid and nothing else is going to turn out well.
No, yeah.
The painter of Das Light.
For me,
his paintings were Kincaid art, wasn't it?
they were, yeah. It's tacky. It's for me, the biggest warning sign for someone, if they don't say anything overt that gives themselves away that they might be a fascist or have fascist leanings, is if they have strong opinions that art should look like what it's portraying and nothing else. Next up, we have Natural's Not In It. Great backbeat. The riff leading into it was good. I love the British pronunciation of the word migraine.
Yes,
migraine.
And leisure.
Back
to back.
Yeah. A Market Made for Senses was a great lyric. This is one of many songs on the album about alienation in the Marxian sense.
Also, shout out Lot's wife.
Yeah. Shout out to Lot's wife.
All right, fill me in. What? Is that a Bible thing?
Yeah.
She turned back and turned into a pillar of salt.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, when Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed, she turned back and turned into a pillar of salt. The ancient Hebrew probably meant something was burnt to cinders, but pillar of salt is more fun.
And plus, there's a band from the Pacific Northwest. I can't think of their name right now. They have a song called Pillar of Salt.
Look that up real quick.
They've got the lady bass player.
The Thermals?
Yes, the Thermals.
Yeah.
There you go.
It says here that Natural's Not In It was used in 2010 by Microsoft for advertisements for the Kinect.
What the hell was the Connect?
That was their weird motion control controller thing where you controlled with your hands, and it didn't work very well.
Huh.
And it did not survive into the modern gaming era. And they tried really hard. On the Xbox One, they made it a mandatory accessory until it wasn't anymore because nobody cared about Kinect.
Oh, I remember that. You didn't like have to hold anything, right? It was strictly like visual.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Trying to
it would
compete
track
with the
your
Wii.
hands. Yeah.
Didn't was that the one that had issues registering
Yes.
darker skinned people?
I think so.
Yeah.
Like all facial recognition technology and everything,
Yeah.
because prejudices bleed into tech.
Yes.
The drums on this song feel like they were lifted verbatim from California Sun by the Ramones, or their rendition of it.
Yeah.
The song itself, whole different vibe,
Yeah.
but the drums, I bet if you isolated and listened side by side, you'd see the similarity there.
That's cool. Yeah. Yeah, I hadn't noticed that before.
They also used this song for the title sequence of 2006 film Marie Antoinette.
Marie Antoinette is a great movie. I like Sofia Coppola's French Revolution movie that uses a bunch of post-punk in it.
Mhm.
It's
Nice.
a great movie.
That was the first time I really got interested in New Order.
Yeah.
Was from that soundtrack.
Yeah, Ceremony was featured pretty prominently in it.
Mhm.
All right, and then next we have Not Great Men. I liked this one, like, lyrically. It was about history as propaganda. Like, the idea of, like, the great men that shape history, we think of them as such because of tacky books that
Yeah.
everyone owns.
Was Great Man Theory around then?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, I like how it sarcastically says "no weak men" in the books, as if masculinity is this monolith of non-emotion. Like, I think a song like this would be great critique on sort of toxic masculinity nowadays. This notion that like we can't critique men who've done great things, like no one is perfect, and everyone has faults and flaws, even my heroes,
Yeah.
all our heroes, but it's in order to push a more fascistic agenda, you have to deny the flaws, you have to deny the humanity of even your heroes.
Yeah.
yeah. Create, like, a cult of personality, create an idol that cannot be torn down. Yeah,
Well, and then you kind of have an opening to deny your own shortcomings and mistakes, and pretty much never change your mind in the face of obvious evidence otherwise that you're doing wrong.
yeah. The guitar riff was cool, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of a Bluesky post I saw the other day where it was a picture of George Washington. It says, George Washington would hate all this stuff that's happening under Trump. And I'm like,
Who cares? Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
only rich white property owners were allowed to vote. They fucking love this shit.
Yeah.
They'd wonder why women and minorities can vote. They'd be like, well, when did you guys introduce that?
Right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Giving me a migraine.
Yeah. And then next up we have the only non-political song of this side and one of the two non-political songs on the album, Damaged Goods.
So, according to Genius.com, hashtag not sponsored, in their explanation of the lyrics, they do pose that that this song does offer a particular Marxist critique of everyday life.
Well, yeah, it's less obvious, though. Yeah. Yeah, Damaged Goods.
But no one's gonna want to hang out with us if we like play Damaged Goods and like, hey, this rocks, right? We're like, well, actually,
Yeah.
So I also want to talk about the lyrics of the song, not particularly the what it was about, but the way that the lyrics were structured. It was structured very poetically in the way that the first couple of verses, if you will, it sort of bookends where it ends the way that it starts.
Yeah.
And I really appreciated that.
And I like the way it used like contrast. Your kiss so sweet, your sweat so sour.
Mm-hmm.
This was the first Gang of Four song I ever heard. And I don't know, I had to have been in my teens at some point, and it's been a regular on many a playlist since then. Also, my only note is Damaged Goods, aka My Baby's Got a Sweating Disorder Blues.
I also liked how they could have made this song a ballad, but it was a high energy dance song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a. Did they release any singles off of this? Feels like a single.
They did. The singles.
Looks like Damaged Goods was a single.
Yeah, Damaged Goods and At Home He's a Tourist. I think Anthrax was too.
Of course, you had to powder Anthrax into there.
Yeah. Or maybe Anthrax is just the one that gets put on every compilation.
I appreciate
Let me double check
it.
that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, Anthrax was not released as a single. It just gets put on every compilation. So yeah, Damaged Goods and At Home He's a Tourist were the two singles off this one.
Lyrically, the song is about sexual politics.
One thing to note about this one, too, was they played it in their main set when I went and saw them, but then they played it at the very end of the encore, too, because it ends with I'm Kissing You Goodbye, and it was one of their last shows. It's going to be their last show in Kansas City, so it's just like a nice little send-off to play it one more time. And I'm Kissing You Goodbye.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I have a sexual politics tattoo. It's just a tramp stamp that says I voted. It's like the sticker. It was a mistake.
This doesn't sound like a mistake to me.
Sounds like less of a mistake than voting for most candidates. Hi-oh!
I voted once. Didn't get much else done that day.
Yeah, it's a heavy burden to bear.
Yeah.
The grim responsibility of voting between two parties
Yeah.
that are so different. So different.
Would you like to vote for the Capitalist Party or the Capitalist Party?
The one's the smiling capitalist party, and the other one's the frowning capitalist party.
Do you want to vote for the party that will say they feel bad when they send bombs to Israel, or the ones that just send bombs to Israel?
Mm-hmm.
Don't blame me. I voted for Kodos.
That took me a second. I did watch that for a while.
Next up, we have, I think, my favorite track on this side, but it's only like my fourth favorite track on the album, so you can tell that I like side 2 even more, and I love this side. Return the Gift.
The guitar solo was filthy.
Yeah, that was the filthiest part of the album. Like most of the rest of the album was really clean. This one actually got grimy.
Yeah, he let loose on this one. The lyrics of this one made me write 4-day work week.
Yeah. I like how it did, kind of like the choppy, kind of monotone-ish vocals, like during the verses, and then just like how like elevated and melodic the chorus got. And I love the "Please Send Me Evenings and Weekends" lyric, just repeated over and over again on the outro, as like they're like slowly getting rid of all the other instruments too. And after like everything is built up to its maximal point too, then to just like slowly start taking that away. And
it was a really good choice for the penultimate song on this side.
I think, if I remember right, there was kind of a cool little bass riff towards the end. Is it an arpeggio when you play the chord like one by one?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, there was like a
1,
cool,
3, 5. Yeah.
yeah, there was like a cool outro arpeggio there, and I think we should nominate Gang of Four for the first annual Individual Achievement in Communism Award.
Yes.
All right, never mind. I thought it was really funny when I wrote it down.
I got it.
That makes it worse.
Yeah, like lyrically too, though. You know, like all these songs are really smart, but not to the point where they get pretentious. Like you can tell it's people who have done the reading, but are more interested in, hey, how do we structure this? You know, like to make it fit.
And it's the lyrical content is presented in a way that it leaves a little bit of like mystery to like what they're into, to a point where it's like you don't have to be aligned with them to appreciate some of the lyricism. Like, you know, if we just go back to the first song, Ether, like you have this, if you're just generally like alienated, if you feel alienated in society, like that song is like perfect both musically and like lyrically. But then when you dive into it, you could be like, oh, okay, well, this is where the alienation comes from. And it's a very inviting, which is a weird thing to say about this music if you ever listen to it, but it's a very inviting approach.
I wonder if Paul Ryan would work out to this music.
Now this is probably too arty for him. No, like, yeah, and that's kind of the way to do politics, though, too, is create a space where you welcome people, like let people know that they're not the only people who feel bad in this way, and like reach out to them and let them know other people feel that way, and hey, what if we did something about it together? And which I think, yeah.
I just learned a term called calling on. So there's calling out and calling in. But calling on or calling upon is when you are calling upon a shared value, and be like, hey, this, like, we have this shared value, so why did you do it this way? Sort of deal, as a sort of a in between calling out and calling in.
I like that.
Yeah.
And then last song of the side, we have the song that they skipped when I saw them live. John King, before he said it, he was like, we wrote this song during Thatcher's Britain, a time of rising nationalism, authoritarianism, and fascism. Something that has nothing to do with our time right now. I think the reason why they skipped it, maybe they got sick of playing it, maybe it wasn't going great in practice, or maybe they did another anti-fascist song they had on their next album in the encore, which I think expresses the same ideas a little better, maybe, which was Outside the Trains Don't Run on Time. So maybe they just got tired of wallowing in that particular emotion and decided to do the song they liked more. I don't know exactly why they did it, but I was a little disappointed that they skipped it, because I do love this song. This song's great.
Yeah, I noticed this one had some more chaos in it than like the preceding song, so maybe you're right. Maybe they rehearsed it and didn't feel like they could sufficiently recreate that chaos. Who knows?
Yeah, it could be that. Yeah, I like a lot of the lyrics for it. I think it does a good job of describing what fascism is, and it does put themselves as someone against fascism, while Outside the Trains Don't Run on Time is talking about the kind of person who is a fascist. So like Outside the Trains Don't Run on Time, like it's about someone like the first lyric is, he's obsessed with nostalgia and wants to create order. This one is about someone from the outside, talking about, this is the cause of all my shaking. So this is talking about what like they feel more themselves, while Outside the Train on Time is like, this is the kind of person who's into it. So I do think there's definitely room for both songs because of that. This one, I like The Fatherland Is No Place to Die For, and Just Keep Quiet, No Room for Doubt. Like, that's, like, fascism is about projecting strength, and it sees doubt as weakness. Yeah. And so I thought this is good. It talks about how, like, Guns Before Butter, how fascism will address economic concerns, like, just with lip service, but then just respond with force. Like,
I have no idea what
Yeah,
that
yeah.
feels like.
yeah. Like I said, this one, like, this is a great song. I wish they would have played it, but I don't know exactly what reason they gave. I thought his joke about not playing it was funny, but
The constant reference to Blood and Iron, I like the repetition of the revisiting that theme. Blood and Iron being similar to the notion of blood and soil, and that, like, blood and soil was a fascist idea, meaning that, like, the two things that ties you to your identity is blood, family, and soil, nation. But in this case, blood and iron being the things that tie you to your identity. Blood, family, and iron, like bullets, military force. So it's a particular militarism view on the blood and soil idea, and so I thought that was like, to be fair, it's a cool phrase to repeat, but it's also like a very good nod to, like, you know, if you look it up, this term, which I guess they didn't have Google back then, but
if you went to your local library and knew which section to go to, and
yeah. But it's, you know, it gives them a chance to be like, oh, what's blood and iron, and then they can be like, well, it's just another like good example of how clever I think this album really is.
Perhaps it's just addressing your iron deficiency in your blood, and you have to take supplements.
I mean, that's what's in his shirt, right?
yeah. And iron is an interesting thing to go for because it you know, talks about the military and blood and strength, but it also talks about chains. It's what binds you. It's what keeps you enslaved.
You mean you guys don't have like a proximity collar?
No, I'm just clicker trained.
Yeah.
Me too. It feels so bad when you don't get the I don't know. It's just always so sad for me to think of historically, just repeating over and over again that it's like, you're poor and your life is hard, and then like half or more than half of the folks will buy into it that it's like, oh, it's because of people who aren't like me, you know, because that's what they're sold. When in, I don't know, it's
a great way to consolidate power.
yeah.
If you want people to support you in power, is to find an enemy for people.
It's like just fear, you know, it motivates them. Like there's always a troop of, you know, rapist South Americans, like, you know, making their way up north. Sometimes it's an explicit posse. They say, oh, they're coming here in 3 days. There's like a countdown.
Well, and then they always talk about a migrant caravan leading up to like midterm elections, and then suddenly they stop mentioning it. Like in mid-November, you hear nothing about it.
Mm-hmm. You know, the only part of North American climate refugees I'm looking forward to is like people are like, oh, this caravan of insufferable Californians making their way to the Midwest here.
Gavin Newsom, climate refugee to Montana.
Leave your bronzer at home, you son of a bitch.
Remember that one movie where half of the earth like froze over, so they were all fleeing to Mexico and they were cutting down the border fence so white people were illegally immigrating to Mexico?
Yeah.
What movie was that?
I don't remember now.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of it. It was terrible.
Sounds really good.
Oh, it was entertaining, but it was terrible.
Yeah.
I have seen so many movies that have like one or two like amazing evocative images surrounded by dog shit.
I believe that's called the snakes on the plane effect.
Yeah.
I was so goddamn baked when I went and saw that in theaters that I could not stop laughing just at the high concept nature of it.
Yeah.
So there was no joke happening. I was just like laughing my ass off because like, oh, snakes on a plane. guys, snakes on a plane.
The first time I ever tried mushrooms, we watched B Movie. And
Oh God!
And because of that, I thought it had a really good like message against classism, and like the main character was rebelling against the oppressive. Anyway, it was B Movie, so it wasn't any of that at all.
When,
Yeah.
when your only tool is Capital Volumes 1 through 4, 3,
Yeah.
then every problem looks like a class conflict, you know?
Yeah. Oh, you know, Marx would say.
Marx failed to account for B Movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like the,
Do you,
the
do you like
latest one.
jazz?
Yes.
Yes. Adorno didn't. But yeah.
I watched that movie Friendship last night, and I went and saw it alone, which I thought was kind of. Go ahead.
Ironic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. I was just nodding along. Yeah. All right, and then we have side B up next, which we have 6 tracks again. I Found That Essence Rare, Glass, Contract, At Home He's a Tourist, 545, and Anthrax. This is my favorite side. We'll see what you guys think, but there are some songs in here that really stand out, and one of them in particular means more to me now than it did when I first heard this album because of the kinds of things we've been seeing on the news. But yeah, we'll get this started. And we are back. What did everyone think of side B of Entertainment?
Well, I actually preferred side A. Myself, I felt like, and it's not anything to do bad with this side per se. It's just I enjoy the more discordant, weirder side part of side A. I felt like side B had like more tangible song structure. I guess is a good way to put it.
Yeah, one thing I noted is especially the first group of songs were what I'd call more straightforward punk, rather than the more experimental stuff on the first side, and the songs that closed out the album. So they went back to the more abstract stuff, I felt like.
I feel like if you took Glass out of the equation, it would feel just as discordant as side 1. But I don't know.
Well, I thought like so for Essence, the first song on side B, I noted that it seems very normie in comparison to like the whole half of side A. To me, like Essence, like it seemed like a kind of like it could be a punk song like written nowadays.
Yeah, like a lot of what current day punk is sounds more like post punk than it does like 77 punk or hardcore punk. Yeah.
There were multiple moments where I thought that the bass playing in particular reminded me of like moving pictures era Rush. So part of me wonders if Geddy Lee might have been listening to this album.
Might have been. Probably was. Yeah. I like this side. I feel like there are more individual tracks that grab me, and I'll get into them as we go through them. But yeah, there's, I don't know, part of it, like having songs that are easier to latch onto, though, might make it so it's easier to find individual tracks, even if you like the spirit of the first side more.
I noticed it was easier for me to take notes on this side because there was more things I could individually pick out.
Yeah, I think they work in concert together. They're definitely not fighting. It's hard to pick one or the other for me.
Yeah, it didn't feel out of place at all.
Yeah.
It's like you could tell that this album was a very good like full picture of where the band was musically when they like at the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's gotta suck to be like, well, We're 22. It's all downhill from here.
I mean, it kind of was. They had good stuff after this, but this was kind of like the peak. This was the only album of theirs I'd consider to be like perfect track for track. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, start things off. I found that Essence rare. I liked the guitar arpeggio on the intro. I like the lyrics. She doesn't know it, but she's dressed for the H-bomb. Just like the whole thing of, like just trying to live a normal everyday life and then under capitalism of consumption and marketing yourself. But there's just like this underlying threat of everything falling apart behind you. I thought that was great. I liked the bass run on the breakdown. Yeah, I thought this was a good way to introduce the side of music too. It was, more of a normal punk song than most of the rest of it, but Ether felt like a pretty normal punk song, and then the rest of the side got weirder from then. But yeah.
Yeah, I really liked the guitar playing on it. It had like a really bluesy vibe, but because of the tone that was on it, it didn't sound like Eric Clapton or anything. so that was cool. But yeah, it had a really cool punky vibe, and I liked the sudden stop that it had.
I think it only sounds maybe a little more listenable because we've just been primed by side A. You know what I mean? Like, it's still pretty caustic. I thought so, but
yeah,
that's fair. But when you listen to like John Zorn or Peter Brotzman, like anything that has a recognizable melody feels normie to me. So,
how's your noise project going?
Wonderful.
Yeah, good.
Visit sparepartsnoise.bandcamp.com.
It reminds me of something I saw on Bluesky, and it was a picture of a guy making electronic music, and it was like dated like 1960 something. So this is like well before it was in any sort of mainstream circle, and it said the headline was "Electronic Concert Not Very Entertaining."
Next up, we have Glass, which was my second favorite song. It wasn't always my second favorite song. It was, I don't know, it was seeing it live. I think that put it there. I like the structure of the whole thing where they will like repeat a section for a while and then repeat it by elaborating, like I'm so restless, then I'm so restless, I'm bored as a cat, which I've like the I'm so restless, I'm bored as a cat is something that's stuck in my head recently, and that I catch myself singing at work type of thing.
That's pretty relatable as a ADHD person.
But I liked it a lot. I like how it's about I like the image of glass as what's separating us from the outside world, and that we can see through it, and it's much more fragile than we think it is. I like the if you're feeling on edge, take some oxygen, put your head on a headrest, and then just like going through all the different devices you can rest your different body parts on. Just like how much effort we go just to relax and ignore the outside world and like all the different devices we have for that, but it's still there, and all it gives us is a sense of loneliness and alienation. There's like lyrically there's like a lot to latch onto here, and I think maybe being one of the more straightforward song structure or like little musically things on here makes it easier for me to like pick all that stuff out and latch onto the lyrics more than the music. I like it. I think this is a great song, and I liked the bass part on the whole head on a headrest, back on a backrest part.
This one and the one after it were the ones that reminded me the most of like Rush. So make of that what you will.
Yeah, I noted that the opening sounds like a Beatles song.
Which one?
I couldn't think of it.
Or like the idea, like the kind of music the Beatles make too.
Well, it almost sounded like they like straight up like were on purpose ripping off a Beatles riff.
Yeah,
probably did.
Yeah. Which to be fair is awesome. So.
Yeah, and I like ending it on about I've been misunderstood too. Like
Like I like this song. Like back to the lyrics, it's very like average person, like average working class person sort of feel, especially like now, post post pandemic lockdowns and stuff, where we really could feel isolated. Like there's this sense of like, like you, the world is beating down on you. You're restless. You're sore. Things hurt. You need to light up a cigarette. You need an aspirin, and you're alone in your house.
Yeah.
You guys fucking rock to party with.
This is what I'm like at parties. Yeah.
I'd be talking a lot less if this were an actual party. Bugging whoever I came with. Can we go yet?
Glass didn't do it for me. It kind of took me out of it, and I was just a little bit puzzled. That being said, I still thought it was a good song. It just felt out of place on this listen, but I could listen to it again tomorrow and might feel differently. I don't know.
Also, when I first heard this album, I was still a smoker, so light myself up a cigarette was a mantra for me, even though that wasn't really the point of the song.
Yeah, cigarettes was the last drug, I guess, if you will, that I gave up before I became caffeine only.
It's the hardest one to quit.
They call it Columbia sober.
Yeah. All right, next up we have Contract. I like the way the bass and guitar play off each other throughout the whole song. I like talking about like romantic relationship as transactional. I liked how oftentimes it was just like vocals and drums throughout the song. I like the whole repeated refrain of "Our bodies make us worry."
Gang of Four failed to consider Tinder.
Yeah, this is a very Marxist breakdown of how relationships can break down and feel entirely like transactional under capitalism and under like a hyper consumerist mode of living that we live under.
I mean, I think a lot of people end up being in relationships just because they need to pay rent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of times it's like, well, I don't have any other options.
I've heard some poly people joke about how it's easier to split the check 3 ways.
Not for the waiter.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
I liked the funky vibe that it had. It kind of reminded me of ska, but didn't sound like ska. I also noticed the drummer was doing some like triplets on the bass drum that I thought was interesting, and I was wondering if they were like using a double bass or if they were doing the heel toe technique or whatever.
I think it was the heel toe technique from seeing his kit in person.
Gotcha. And one of the riffs I thought sounded almost hardcore, so like proto-hardcore.
Yeah.
Post-punk, proto-hardcore.
Yeah.
I mean, Gang of Four and Y are both inspired a lot of hardcore bands,
Sure.
like the Minutemen and Minor Threat, respectively. But yeah,
Yeah.
So I can definitely hear their influence on the Minutemen, like especially with the way that they mix it. I put floor tom and 3 exclamation points. I really like the drumming on this album. It's very like it's both stands out without like standing out. Like it's very unique without having to stand out.
yeah. Like if he had gone for like the Keith Moon style of drumming, that would have overwhelmed everything. But yeah, it just like you always notice it, you never miss it, and it never overpowers anything else.
Wonder if that had to do with the way they recorded it, because I mean, it's really easy to overpower everything with the drums if you record, every piece of the kit. But I wonder if they were using a more minimalist mic setup.
Like a dick mic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if Marxism played into like how they structured their songs, because like you don't really have like a 20-minute Moby Dick, John Bonham, solo from anybody at any point.
No.
And I mean, there is a ton of distinction and very, very individual tones. I mean, I can't imagine that they could play musical chairs with the instruments and like still have the same sound by any means. But by the same token, it's all working like in concert. So
The riffs will be distributed evenly.
mhm.
They kind of are, though.
Yeah.
Don't have like a Dave Mustaine type in the band that's trying to hoard all the writing credit and whatnot.
No, yeah. Next up, we have my third favorite track on the whole album, and this one was one of their singles, At Home He's a Tourist. It got banned, like they couldn't play it on Top of the Pops, because it references condoms. The rubbers you hide in your top
Yeah.
left pocket, that got them banned from the BBC.
That's a generation that tells us that we're offended by everything.
Yeah. Great, but I like the great, like, galloping, like, almost like Iron Maiden type bass line, but with, like, a disco drum beat behind it.
Yeah, I remember when I was submitting our Lucid Fugue song, Disco Lament, to reviewers, and none of them knew what to do with it. Like, somebody's like, oh, this is the first punk disco song. And I'm like, well, listening to this, that's not true, objectively.
Yeah. And then it had, like the really scratchy, noisy guitar with that, too. Like, this one, I think that this is the most danceable song on the record, I think, which is saying something because every song's pretty danceable, but I just like the energy it brings forward. I like what everyone's doing the most.
Yeah,
I
but,
think,
more fun guitar work, bass and drums holding it down. It's actually kind of reminds me a lot of when you see like the Peter Brötzmann quartet play. Like it's definitely has like a chaotic feel because of like that's just the way free jazz was. But the bassist and the drummer would kind of like keep everyone in check, even though they're both improvising as well.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's kind of that same feeling like on this song, as well as just throughout a lot of the album, where like the bass and drums are sort of keeping everyone grounded, and so that way the guitar player can just kind of go off or join in if he wants.
yeah.
Yeah, I did notice how chaotic the guitar got on this one, and like that's because he had plenty of space to work with.
Yeah, the last three songs I think are the most chaotic the guitar gets, and that feels intentional, like it's building towards a point where he can cut loose a little more.
I have to say, you need to add me to the Victims of Communism Memorial, because that song knocked me on my ass.
Yeah, it was a good choice for a single,
Mhm.
like a great choice for a single.
Mhm.
I also like the 2 steps forward, 6 steps back, because it feels like every time like society makes some kind of progress on anything, it just like snaps back even worse right afterwards.
It's so true.
Yeah.
Every little bit of progress that we've seen in the last 2 decades have been ripped away from us.
Yeah.
And we didn't even make that much progress to begin with.
No.
Also, I learned a new term for wanking it. Cob off.
Cobb. That sounds very British. Yeah.
I'm gonna go in back room and cob off, mate.
Cobb off.
I'm going to keep that one in my back pocket for future use.
Yeah.
Well, it just makes me think of that meme, the Midwest girls make do.
Yeah. Next up, we have 545, which, would you believe this is my favorite song on the record?
The one about guns,
Yeah.
the bullet size. My bad.
Oh, yeah. No, the one about screen size. Yeah, the how can I sit and eat my tea with all the blood flowing from the television? Watch New Blood on the 18-inch screen. The corpse is a new personality. Nowadays, you could do it. Watch New Blood on the 7-inch screen. This song, I think, this has always been one of my favorites, but it really stood out to me in recent years because of watching like just a constant stream of war crimes being committed with American bullets and American bombs in Gaza for like the past 2 years now.
Yep. Well, and yeah, with the rise of 24-hour news, I mean, it's even gotten more relevant than when he wrote it. So it's very, very ahead of its time, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Melodica.
Yeah, and the melodica on the intro is great.
Mm-hmm.
Reminded me a lot of your playing. I could see you channeling that.
The last 2 songs on this record are the ones that most have influenced how I write songs. I think that might be kind of obvious, but yeah.
Who played the melodica?
The singer.
Oh, okay. I was hoping
John
it was
Dean.
like a guest appearance, and so we could call it Gang of Five for a moment.
Yeah. No, he played it on stage too, but only for this song. The other ones where it's just like the occasional stab, he didn't bring it out, but for this song, he played it while Ted Leo sang. It was Andy Gill singing it on the record, but yeah.
I thought the opening sounded a lot like a contemporary like indie pop song.
Yeah. The ever since like Gang of Four and New Order incorporated the melodica, and then the Gorillaz after them, it's become more of like an indie pop thing than it has been. Also because you can usually find one for like $10 at a thrift store if you are patient.
Right. I mean, even new, they're one of the cheaper like niche instruments you can get.
Kind of reminded me of when you did the intro to our version of COVID 1918 with my little noisy air organ with the
fan.
Yeah. That's probably louder than the organ itself.
Yeah.
I'm not clear on what a melodica is. It kind of sounds like the like little thing you toot on to like tune a guitar. It's got like the
So basically, it's a keyboard instrument that the way you generate the sound is there's like a little tube that you blow into, and then the keys make the pitch.
Okay, I don't feel bad for not guessing that. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like an accordion, except you're using your lungs instead of like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have like all the buttons that play chords. It's just like the keyboard too.
Okay.
Yeah. It's basically a toy. It's like a cheap thing you can get that like a kid might get at a grade school, and you can do a lot with it if you really try. Yeah.
Fun fact: I first discovered the melodica due to watching an unplugged performance by Smash Mouth of All Star.
Somebody once told me. Yeah. Yeah, I also liked how this one kind of started, more like low-key melodica, no guitar, drums and bass really holding back, and then just built to guerrilla war struggle as a new entertainment just over like a chaotic bed of noise, and then kind of died down again by the end. I liked the building and release of tension. Like, that's one of the things I like about this band in general, but I thought like they really did it well with this song.
Yeah, they really cobbed off on that one, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I noticed that the guitar was following the singer for a good portion of the song, which was like something unique to this song versus the rest of the album that I enjoyed.
Rather than like being off doing its own thing, it was much more melodic for a lot of it until it wasn't. But yeah. And then finally we have the album closer, which is the Gang of Four song that gets put on like compilations and stuff the most. And it's a kick-ass song. It's an amazing song. But it is also kind of more interesting to hear it as the climax of the album rather than just by itself.
It did make a good album closer, I thought. Had a nice, long feedback intro, and I think it was probably the most abstract on the album.
Yeah.
This one did sound like Hendrix, Star Spangled Banner at Woodstock a lot.
It felt very psychedelic.
Mm-hmm. The intro, that is.
Yeah. And then I liked it though, like how when it got through that, then just like the funk bass came in, and then how the guitar eventually dropped out, and then it was someone doing sad love lyrics and someone doing kind of like a matter of fact monologue at the same time.
I kept picturing that stupid interview with those like Australian twins who kind of talk together, like in unison.
Yeah.
And it was cracking me up, so I kind of focused on that and quit listening to the song. But it sounded really good from what I heard.
Yeah.
I felt like this song you should snap afterwards rather than applause because of all the spoken word.
Yeah. It is one of the highlights of the live set too, just because of how much moving around the guitar he does without hitting the string, like strumming very often. Like there's a little bit of strumming near the end, but a lot of it is just, like kind of flinging the instrument around, which is really cool to watch.
What kind of guitar was he playing?
Just an old beat up SG.
Nice.
I find the best thing to do with guitars is to not play them, so.
Don't even look at it.
Yeah.
It's just Mellotrons as far as the eye can see.
It's Mellotrons and tape machines.
Hell yeah.
Did I tell you that Osama bin Laden started an a cappella group when he was younger?
I have heard that.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yep.
I like it. I like the idea that Osama bin Laden was like a preppy college guy. Like the kind of guy who is into a cappella and lacrosse and that kind of stuff.
Mm.
Frat boy Osama bin Laden.
He was on the rowing team.
Yeah.
That's probably not far from the truth.
That's probably how he met George W. Bush.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Hey, what if we do a 9/11?"
Yeah.
And George W. Bush didn't understand what he was saying, so he went over to Cheney.
Yeah. And then later, Osama bin Laden spent his time in a goon cave. The bunker that they killed him in, they just found that he was just surrounded by like giant stacks of porn, so he did have a goon cave.
He also had B-movie on his hard drive.
He did.
That's amazing.
B-movie, is that the one with Seinfeld?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Isn't there like another movie called B-movie?
Are you thinking of My Girl?
Where Seinfeld kills Macaulay Culkin, right?
Yeah.
It was a good documentary.
Yeah.
No, I think there is like, I think I know what you're talking about.
Bug's Life?
No, it has
It's
nothing
like a
to
parody
do with insects.
movie.
Yeah.
Like they had like Scary Movie and
Oh, like literally B-movie.
B-movie,
Yeah.
yeah.
but it might be
Yeah.
like a what is it? Where you like misremember like a cultural event that didn't happen.
Trying to remember which movie, like, because after like the second Scary Movie, those started becoming not worth watching at all.
Oh god,
Like,
they jumped
yeah.
the shark like immediately.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember what all that, like, there's Epic Movie, there was Not Another Teen Movie, there was, I don't even remember.
They
now.
made too damn
Yeah.
many of them, that's for sure.
So I think I saw a Scary Movie and Not Another Teen Movie. That's about it.
I remember, I think we had Scary Movie on DVD, so I saw that one a million times. I'll bet you if I saw it now, I probably wouldn't be that impressed by it.
Probably not. That's one of those movies that you probably don't want to revisit as an adult.
It's like, I don't need to revisit Adam Sandler. I only have good memories. Let's keep those.
Yeah.
I grew up watching art films and being insufferable. So I've
Yeah.
never seen it. Like, oh, it's a William Burroughs cut-up experiment? Let's watch an hour of it.
Oh, and I'm the not fun one at parties.
I didn't get into art movies until like college.
Yeah.
I'm still not very into art movies. I do enjoy like independent romantic comedies. Okay, I'm insufferable.
Yeah, those are good. No, I like David Lynch dying was a deep period of mourning for me because like Twin Peaks, Mulholland Drive, Blue Velvet, all that were very very important to me when I was getting into like art movies in college, and they're all things that I still love watching. I also like how like Lynch, like he gets abstract, but he is still pretty accessible compared to some other people. But yeah, because you can kind of follow the vibe at least if you can't follow the plot. And there's kind of a celebration of like just like kitsch and everyday life within his stuff too. So
Yeah. We should do like a 2-movie marathon or something. But like no discussion afterwards. Just like when it's over, we part ways.
yeah, record us say we're gonna watch this movie, and then after it's done, well, see ya.
Yeah.
Do you know, did David Lynch get any royalties off of that restaurant?
I don't know if he did.
What restaurant? I feel like this is set up.
There's a restaurant called Twin Peaks that was like a Hooters ripoff.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't remember if he sued them or not.
Maybe they named a sandwich after him.
I kind of imagine him not caring that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably, and it's also probably a general enough term that you couldn't sue for copyright. I don't know.
Yeah. I do remember though, like when I was a kid watching Jurassic Park, and that being like the first thing I saw, like Sam Neill, Jeff Goldblum, and Laura Dern in, and then like while I was watching normal people movies throughout the rest of like my childhood into like high school, being like seeing like Goldblum especially, but also Sam Neill and things, being like, who's that Laura Dern? What else has she been in? And then in college, like getting into David Lynch. Oh. She just went back to doing art movies.
I would give anything to see Return of the Jedi directed by David Lynch, which he turned down to make Dune, I think.
Yeah.
And I say anything, but I gotta qualify that. I'm not gonna ask AI to reproduce it for me.
I would do anything within my code of ethics.
There you go.
Which is pretty much anything except ask AI.
That's why we gotta figure out how to hop dimensions, and then we can just use it for entertainment.
I think David Lynch's Return of the Jedi would have been as big of a disaster as Dune, which would have been a net positive in the long run.
You don't think the whole Star Wars expanded universe would have been like, or what are you saying? Are you coming from the Dune angle or from the Star Wars angle?
I'm coming from the angle that Star Wars wouldn't become a ubiquitous cultural force after that.
Mm.
I think it would have given us a weird and interesting movie that might have been better than the one we got. Like the Return of the Jedi we got is the safest of the original movies, basically.
Ewok battle scene.
Yeah, like Lynch would have given us something weird
Did you
and
just shoot
abstract
that teddy bear?
and alienating, and it would have killed the franchise forever. Like you couldn't sell action figures off of David Lynch's Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Well, you know, what actually killed the franchise forever was the movies being too political.
Yeah, war is never political.
I wonder what Marx would have thought of this album.
He would have been confused by the kind of
Abrasive
played.
instrumentation.
Yeah. like Marx would have gone from 1800s chamber pop to this. if you could play this for him, he would have been incredibly confused by that. He might have liked the lyrics if he figured them out.
I think he'd still be confounded that we went to the moon.
Yeah, I bet Marx would have a killer podcast if you brought him back forward today.
I bet you would. And he would be in fights with every other podcaster. He would start them too.
So he'd be Peter Coffin.
Better than that. But he would start fights.
You mean Hassan isn't just Marx with a podcast?
Yeah.
I thought it was funny that Ethan Klein's big reveal was that he was a socialist, and he's like, yeah, no shit.
Aren't Hassan and Ethan Klein like beefing right now?
Oh yeah.
Over Israel.
I remember thinking Ethan Klein was an idiot like 15 years ago, so or 10 years ago maybe.
That's the H3 podcast guy, right?
Yeah.
thought you were talking about Ezra Klein for a second. I was like, what?
Everyone's beefing with Ezra Klein,
Okay.
except Democratic consultants.
Oh, great. Ethan Klein's going to sue us now.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I could use the promotion.
He could make a portion of our profits. He could make 100% of our profits. As long as he doesn't own the intellectual property, he can sue us all he wants.
Sue me, Daddy.
So yeah, as soon as I invent my time machine, first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this album back in time and make Marks listen to it, and we're going to film it, and it'll be like one of those Fine Brothers reacts.
And then we're going to take this album a little bit forward in time and make Hitler listen to it and then make him kill himself earlier. Because he would hate this. This would be degenerate art to him.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't imagine what that fucking idiot would think of this.
Yeah.
Then we'll put it on YouTube, monetize it, and prove Mark's right.
Yes. Yeah, Marx would be confused by it because it doesn't match anything that he understands. And yeah, Hitler would think it's degenerate and have an aneurysm and die.
Could you imagine if the Soviets had the ability to trap Hitler in a room and play the Barney theme song over and over again?
That would have been great.
Or the what's that? The never-ending song. This is the song that never ends.
Have you seen his paintings? They're so saccharine. Like, he would love it. You're like, thank you for
Yeah.
putting me in heaven on earth.
I think we should make Hitler listen to Taylor Swift. Because we know Donald Trump hates her, so he'd probably hate her too.
Like, first you show him a picture of Taylor Swift, and he would be like, "Oh," and then he'd listen and be like, "Huh?
Yeah.
What does Shake It Off?"
I do remember, like, for a while, a bunch of, like, internet neo-Nazis were, like, big fans of Taylor Swift and trying, because she's white and blonde, and were trying to get her to signal that she was one of them, and that didn't happen, and they got mad.
Like, the thing that's funny to me, like, now that lesbians have chaperone, like, they don't have to, like, keep looking for the hidden hints that Taylor Swift is actually gay.
Yeah, they still do, but yeah,
Yeah.
they don't have to. Yeah,
I think she said something about, like, a friend of Dorothy's once, and, like, everybody freaked out.
the song that she did about, like, pride is, to me, is 100% proof that she's straight. because she made a song about her complaining about her haters be about, oh, and it's okay to be gay too. It's like, yeah, no, this is, yeah.
The way that she says the phrase "this sick beat" proved to me 100% that she's white.
Yeah.
Another example of to bring it back to the album, another example of like how we can idolize these figures without looking at, like, the problematic nature of their existence, but from, like, a liberal perspective and a liberal persuasion. You know, like, we're Taylor Swift, I'm sure she's a lovely person. I often compare myself to her musically, but you know, like, and it's not necessarily her fault, but, like, you know, the way that she operates her business, if you will, there are ecological issues. You know, we always talk about, like, the joke that she had to walk from one side of the stadium to the other, so she took a plane.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, that's, like, that has nothing, you know, it has nothing to do with, like, with denying, you know, her hard work and success and all that stuff, but, like, it also is just good to just sort of humanize her.
Yeah. Not made for great men. yeah, this was Entertainment by Gang of Four. This is an incredibly influential album for me as someone who likes thinking about dynamics and mixing and how to combine melodic elements with noise elements and have everyone give an equal contribution in some way or another. I would highly recommend this album if you haven't heard it. This is one of the better known albums that we've done on this podcast. But if you haven't listened to it, definitely give it a spin. Anyone have anything they want to plug?
Any sick beats you want to throw out
Any sick beats? Yeah. Jacob, you should do music again at some point, but since you're not, Jimmy.
Yeah. So I have a solo folk punk project known as Not Ben Shin. I have a solo noise project called Spare Parts, all one word, all lowercase. I'm in a band called No Functional Purpose, and I'm also in the seminal Omaha street punk oi band The Bricks. You can check us out if you want. No one's holding a gun to your head, so you probably shouldn't.
If you could hold a gun to anyone's head to make them listen to The Bricks, who would it be?
Stephen Miller.
I guess that's a good question. Ayn Rand. Just so I could hold a gun to her head.
Nice non-actionable answer of someone who's already dead.
I didn't know you were a lawyer.
Yeah. I am not. This has been Side 1, Side B with Dave and Steve. We'll catch you on the flip side.
Side 1, Side B with Dave and Steve is a Floof Goof Studios production. You can find us on Instagram at KillRockMusicSWS and Dave_Diction. You can find us on Bluesky at KillRock Music and Beastmaster General. Check out our musical projects, The Alliterates and Lucid Fugue, on all major streaming platforms, and links to each at my website, killrockmusic.com. That's KILRAVOCK music.com. This also includes my past projects, Megaton and Valley of Shadows, and my current solo project, Kill Rock. You can also find Dave's past project, Gong Farmer, at GONGFERMOUR.bandcamp.com. Thanks.
Everyone we worked with is dead.
Really ripped.
Yeah.
I need to change my pants.
Check. Check. Leonard Bernstein. I hate it so much I skipped the whole Destroyer.
Allow me to play you out.
Dirty Dave just pooped his pants.
Yes, indeed.
Perfect hooker murdering song.
Kick out the jail, motherfucker!
Are you ready?
Oh. Steve's got some cheese.
Get my podcast voice ready to go.
Jaw Wobble. What a name.
I'm Ivan Moody, and I'm having a psychotic break.
Testicules.
That is a fun fact.
And there's a jazz hole.
What do you mean this song is called Sweet Pea?
Now that we're done with Steve's Rorschach test, let's talk about the album.
For fuck's sake.
That's not very Zizzian of you guys.
It's a professional operation over here.